Yeah.
Yeah, we try to get this right. This is attempt number 5, I think. So let's long may it last. So how's it, Glenn from Acer South Africa? How are you doing, sir?
I am doing very well. How are you doing? Long time no see. Peak. You guys been
Yeah, it's
busy.
been a while. It's been a while.
Exciting times for you guys, eh?
Yeah, look, the magazines are keeping us very busy now. But yeah, it's so good to see it back in print, and people are loving it. And
Yeah.
in fact, we featured your latest Predator router in the latest issue. So anybody wanting to check out one of the best routers I've ever tested, check it out in the next issue. How's that product line going for you?
It's taking a while to get going, but that's because we haven't traditionally played in this market. You don't just put a product in and run with it and then expect it to take off. It's going to take a little bit of time to get going, because I think that I think when you look at how well priced it is, I think immediately people get a little bit suspicious. When it's selling for below 2,000 rand on
That's very
promo.
good.
So it's I mean, for a device that's got mesh capabilities and all the different things that it comes with in terms of its Wi-Fi connectivity and that, it really is a great unit.
No, it is. I mean, I was blown away by the price, I must be honest, because for 2 of those, it's still cheaper than one of my mesh units that I've got here. And physically, cost-wise, that was a pretty big thing for me, right? So each time I want to add a mesh node, it's 4.5 to 5 grand cheapest. I think the new ones are 6 or 7. So that was a big appeal for me to see this in a relatively affordable gaming router that obviously gives you all the other bells and whistles and a nice interface to configure everything. It's a pretty solid offering.
Yeah, I don't think relatively affordable comes into effect. It's probably the most affordable gaming router that's available, which is where we're trying to work to make things more and more accessible. So, I mean, that's not only a South Africa thing. I think that Acer globally is recognized that it's not just a case of trying to pump as much technology in, which we do. It's how do we make that technology as affordable as possible as well. And we're very excited to see where Acer is going in this regard.
So what else from the gaming sphere have you guys got on your cards? Obviously your gaming computers still pretty big in the industry. Anything else in the gaming sphere that we can look forward to?
Yeah, so we're working on a project at the moment with particularly on the higher, well, in fact, it's probably not going to only be on higher end. If we get it right, we're going to bring it down all the way to affordability where you can do your own configuration in South Africa. So in the past, what we used to do is we would bring in PCs, 100%. We'd bring in the PCs where they were 100% built overseas, and we would then, put them into the country. We're busy working on a project now which aims to make them, build your own device almost on a notebook scale. There's limitations because you still have your graphics cards and your processor fixed, but at least it gives you the option to upgrade the RAM and the memory and the storage as much as you potentially need, and give you a little bit of zhuzh around what you can do, and then deliver to your house, rather than going and buying off the shelf all the time.
Yeah, that's become a big thing to configure your own. I'm glad to see you guys are moving into that space. Is that desktops and notebooks, I assume, or where
So
we're
starting off with notebooks right now. Desktops is actually quite an easy thing to do from a branded point of view. The problem is that the market is very, very geared towards build your own devices under, I wouldn't quite call it a tier 2, because I think it's more a case of, it's bespoke. You want so it's like when somebody goes to Tiger Wheel and Tires to put on mag wheels, they don't want to look like the guy next door. It's a very different market. I think when it comes to the, you look at what PC Builder are doing, those guys are doing an incredible job in terms of pricing and making it accessible to the guys. I mean, wow, those guys are really, really doing a great job. And the product is phenomenal, hey? It's affordable for what you're getting. It's a really, really good thing. I mean, I'm not selling my competitors' product, but you got to acknowledge the fact that those guys are doing a great job, eh?
No, they are. They're massive players, and they kind of reinvented that whole build your own PC, or at least buy pre-built PC in a sense.
The thing is that absolutely, and the thing is that the technology that your tier ones like the Acers and the Omens and that, and we put into the devices, tend to focus around the cooling, and that's where our proprietary technology on the notebook computers is heavily geared towards the cooling options and what that we can do around that, and battery life and that, which you just don't really get on the where you don't need battery life on a desktop. But there we, you would have seen that we've put a lot of focus there around desktop, around monitors, and what we're doing around making monitors more affordable, and that's going to grow. There, it's just, we've started off with one gaming monitor that's really taken us all by surprise, and that's going to now scramble and go up in terms of offering to get the best we possibly can. Most of, make it more affordable, because if you get the right monitor, if you can't afford a good graphics card to change it every 3-4 years, you could potentially upgrade your monitor, and that sort of adds to the value that and your ability to perform as well. And I think people don't realize that often. We always want to spend that extra 15 grand on a new graphics card, but spending another 5 grand on a better monitor will take you a long way as well, and it might just be able to bridge that gap for a little while.
No, definitely. I mean, speaking of monitors, how's your local production facility going with producing monitors in South Africa?
Very, very well at the moment. I mean, I'm actually physically, as we speak, I was, before I popped on this call, was busy looking at the roadmap that we're going to be going into for the second half of this year. And there's some big things planned, where we found that we have the ability to switch on newer technologies a lot faster with local production now. Because we don't have to wait for it to go through a whole ring. I mean, I think the biggest thing really is that building in new lead times that we are able to actually achieve are doing very, very well. So we're not quite positioned to, we're still under embargo on some of the products that are coming through there. But I mean, we've done the WQHD unit, which we brought into the market as our first test on the gaming monitor. And I'm going to run out of stock in the next 6 to 8 weeks.
Wow.
We got to see what we can do to bridge that, because I want to rather wait a little bit, because that new monitor is coming out, that the new specs coming out for the second half of this year, and I don't want to overstock the market too much on that. So there's some good stuff happening. The run rates, it's been very, very well accepted. The quality is phenomenal. Hey, Richard. I mean, it was one of the things that was big on our priority list, and why it took us so long to get the monitor project off the ground is because it's all first-party Acer products. So we have to make sure that the factory is compliant to the standards that you would get manufactured in Taiwan. And we got there, and the quality that we're getting across the board is really, really been phenomenal. I just keep using that word. It's just, it's worked. The project has worked, and I think that's the key.
Oh, that's good to hear. So what is the main benefit you see? I mean, if we're talking about gaming monitors or monitors in general, the benefit of having them locally produced, obviously the economical reasons are one side, but I mean, does the consumer see a price benefit to this, or is it more about the quality of the build and the ability to, get it manufactured on our doorsteps?
Yeah, so I'd say the quality build is equitable to what we get at our factories from Taiwan or China. Their build quality is up there. So I'm quite confident around that. Because, the local manufacturers here in South Africa have years and years of experience of manufacturing TVs. So it's not, you got to understand, these guys are experienced. They know what they're doing, and to put a monitor together, it's not something that's beyond their expertise. What it's actually allowed us to do is it's allowed us to bring in better quality product at better affordable prices. So we're not the cheapest, and that's, we're not the cheapest 24 and 27 inch consumer monitor. I mean, that's left for the tier 2s. But what we're able to do is, for example, we were able to launch with a 100 hertz entry-level consumer monitor, with an IPS panel, where the market at that stage when we launched, our competitors were at 75 hertz. And I'm talking tier 1 competitors, like for like, and that was there. And we were able to launch with 100 hertz and get going in there, and we're now going to be moving with the times, and you'll see where we sort of pitching. So whilst it's allowing us to be more affordable, it's allowing us to be more affordable on better quality. So we're not going cheap, and that's the thing is that we're not a tier 2, we're a tier 1, and we're delivering. I mean, with fairness to a lot of the guys who are bringing in the tier 2s, they're bringing in panels that are B panels. Now, the thing about what you got to understand when you're manufacturing, I don't want to get too technical in the supply chain things, yeah. But when you're delivering an Acer monitor, it has to be, the panel has to be an A++ monitor, an A+ and A monitor panel, which means that your pixels, you can't have dead pixels. You've got to have a better quality lifespan. If I was bringing in my own brand and call it Glenn Pty Limited or Glenn's Computer World, whatever you want to call it, if I was bringing that in, I could potentially bring in a second-hand panel and cut the market price and be cheaper than everybody else. People will buy it because the price is right, but are you actually getting the longevity? And that's why behind our product, we've gone across the board with the 3-year warranty on it. So that in itself is saying not only are we giving you the quality, but we're actually backing it to say that you're going to have 3 years worth of luxury, which is what differentiates us from product that is competing, I suppose. So yeah, it's looking good, hey? Good.
Oh, fantastic. No, it's good to see the gaming angle of your production. Also, it's locally includes the capability for gaming relevant hardware. And I think you make a good point. When you buy a monitor, you do want a quality over a cheaper product. I think we've all been through that, especially when it comes to certain computer parts, most computer parts, but certain ones are more susceptible. If you don't want monitor burn in or bleed from the backlight coming through, or just, poor quality panel that's just not constructed properly.
Well, I think the most important, which is where we find ourselves, is that you want to have a situation where people have the ability to sit and look at their computer monitor and play for longer periods of time without getting headaches, without getting eye strain and getting those sorts of things. So whilst the build quality and making sure you're maximizing the physical quality, you also got to understand that with regards to the effect that it has on people. And especially now that we're getting younger and younger people who are gaming, there's a massive difference, which your gamers and your readers will know all about, is that sit in front of a 75 hertz or even 100 hertz monitor that is of not great standard, the cheaper ones. What's going to happen is after 45 minutes, you're going to turn around and you're going to go, I'm so tired and I'm there. In a work environment, that's important because we're forced to sit in front of our computers for 6 to 8 hours a day. And you want to work on it. I've actually found I've got the 100 hertz now in my office here, and I found that I've done away with having to wear my computer glasses because I can see beautifully clearly on my monitors now as well. It's so much softer. I find that I'm going home at night and I'm not as tired as I was when I was just working off a standard monitor, and that was a standard Acer monitor. It was a 60 hertz monitor. So just jumping up in terms of the frequency, I think that's got to be the biggest benefit when it comes to your playtime. When it comes to that, it's not just about your speed of your processing and things like that. It's your ability to stay. I mean, if you're gaming and you're now sitting in an intense game and you're now in like the 4th round and you've been sitting and you're grinding for 3 hours, the last thing you want to do is have fatigue because you've got a really, really bad monitor in front of you. You can have the best PC. Don't skip on don't then say, well, that's fine, I'll just have a no-name brand monitor because it's going to do it. Buy a proper monitor. And what we're doing with this project, and this is where the local comes in, is it's allowing us to make it more affordable. I mean, we're able to break 5,000 Rand on 180 hertz with up to 420 nits a WQHD panel. It's just hasn't been seen. I think the guys are now starting to follow because they're feeling that they have to. The difference is we're there all the time now, where the other guys are promoting to get there. That's where we're positioned at. We're giving the best price up front, and we've told our partners in the trade, we're going to give you the best price, and you must manage it because we want to make this more accessible.
Well, on that note, thank you so much, Glenn. I really appreciate the insights. Like I said, that router of yours, pretty impressive stuff. And we look forward to playing some more with. I know there's some other upcoming hardware that we'll get hold of soon, and including those new gaming monitors. So I look forward to that.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that we'll be in a position to lend those to you sooner rather than later to start testing, and we'll bring them out of embargo. I think in the next 6 to 8 weeks they'll come out of embargo. But our routers, we're going to carry on that side, Reghard. I think there's a couple more that are planned. I know Dan's got a bit of a roadmap planned in terms of that. But we're not only going to be dealing, obviously, in the gaming side of things, which we're strong. We're also going to start expanding into other areas of our streaming business. Streaming is a big thing. We see streaming as a massive opportunity in South Africa. If you have a look at what's happened with TV and the way that streaming is growing in those areas, we definitely see that there's opportunities there. So we'll be looking forward to speaking to your readers more and more about some of the stuff. And that's going to be hot off the press. There's some imminent announcements coming through in that area, which we're going to start playing in.
Fantastic. I can't wait to see more, Glenn. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful afternoon.
Thanks so much.